Hi, I'm Angel. I want to talk to you about bottle walls and tell you 3 tips that I learned doing it the hard way that maybe I can save you some time on if you end up building a bottle wall yourself, which I know not that many people do, but hey, if you do, would you contact me and let me know? Because I would love to know about it. And whether you do or don't, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, would you? What I have learned, there's so many things, but I'm going to narrow it down to just the top 3 that come to mind while I'm staring at this, my latest bottle wall, which was an experiment really in using whole bottles. I have some cut bottles over here, which are 2 bottles, bottoms put together. I'm trying to get an angle where you can kind of see the light does shine through them. And the 3 tips that I wanted to share are, you might not have considered that papercrete, which I'm building with here, and really any material that you're gonna build with is likely to have a slump factor. So you're gonna be limited at how much you can build at one time. So sometimes that makes it challenging for design or just for time management. In general, I do 2 or 3 rows, 3 max. If I try to push 4 rows of bottles, really with either method, 3 seems to be about the max at a time, and then I have to let it harden or dry for at least a day, if not several days, before I can build on top of it, depending again on the weight and there's a lot of factors involved. But that's one of the big limiting factors that you might not consider at first. You might be thinking you're gonna build a whole thing at once, but you're gonna be limited by the material that you use. And again, I'm using papercrete here, but even if you were to use adobe or cement, 2 other options I can think of the top of my head, they're still going to have that same limitation to various degrees. Another thing is, you'll notice how messy my lines are. I'm going to be coming back with some mortar, some finer material without the paper in it, and that's going to help make a cleaner line. But another tip that you might keep in mind if you are building with bottles is to keep, I like to use a butter knife actually, but some kind of trowel or metal edge that you can use to push back your material as you go along to create a cleaner edge. I did not do that on here, partly because I'm going to be coming back with mortar, and partly because I'm a little bit lazy, or I could say I was working on my own and made other things a priority. Anyway, that's a tip. Keep a butter knife, again, is my favorite tool for pushing back material around the bottles, and that does apply to the round cut bottles as well as the straight whole bottle method that I've been experimenting with. You'll see these edges are still pretty dirty, and that's the 3rd tip I wanted to talk about is that if you've ever done any tiling or working with mortar, you'll know that it's very important to clean your surface before everything dries completely, or usually you sponge it dry and then actually clean it with a dry paper towel. And papercrete is much more forgiving than mortar or straight concrete, but it is still best to clean it off before it's completely cured. And so make sure and formulate time in your project management for cleanup at the end of every session, so that you will save yourself, double or triple or more that cleanup time if you put it off too long. So conversely, if you do it too early, it's a lot like tiling or grouting in that there's a sweet spot of a window for cleanup time, and if you do it too early, you might just create more work for yourself than is necessary. So yeah, after a session, after it's dried, I even sometimes will work until it's dark and then come back the next day and do cleanup with papercrete. Now with mortar or grout, you wouldn't want to leave it that long, but with papercrete you can get away with leaving it for quite a while, and even this is soft enough that you can come back and clean. It's just a lot more work. So there you have it, 3 tips about building with bottles that I thought might be handy or interesting to some of you. I can give you a little tour here. This is my 8 Dragons room, which is named thusly because of these rafters up here that I hand cut. And back here is the Head Hutt Mega-Sculpture, which I wrote a book about building, and you can find that book on Amazon if you'd like to support me and or find out more about the Head Hutt over here. And again, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, drop me a comment and let me know what you think, what questions you have, and I will try to answer them. And as always, take good care of yourself and stay free.